name is Eric Sim. I'm very glad to be here and to also be the last speaker. I love street food. Right? I eat fishball noodle almost every week in Hong Kong. If I travel to Thailand, this is what I eat. Braised pork with rice and mango. And if I travel to Singapore for work, I would usually stay at a Grand Hyatt because the service is great. But more importantly, there is a hawker store nearby that looks like this. This is Indian fried bread. If I have a conference call in the office, I will buy it, take away, and eat it in the hotel room. I fly a lot, and this is what I eat on the plane. I'm very sure none of you has eaten this on the plane, whether is it economy class, business class, or first class. Because before I fly, I went to this shop to buy it. On the plane, the cabin crew was nice enough to put it on a plate. So why do I love hawker food so much? You know, we call it hawker food in Singapore, but the rest of the world is called street food. I grew up with it. I was selling it when I was young. And in fact, many a time when I look back at this picture, I feel like I'm that piece of bean curd. Let me tell you more. From the age of 12 to 22, I was helping my father to sell prawn noodle at his little store. His store is a little bit smaller than this. My father is very thin, like this man in the middle, frying, but shorter. I'm the guy on the left, but younger. I help my father on Sunday, on weekends, on public holiday. And on those days that his only helper couldn't make it to work, my mother will ask me to skip school and go help out. She is the only mother I know that wouldn't think twice asking her kids to skip school. She didn't think that I'm learning a lot in school. And last month, I was interviewed by eFinancial Career, which is an employment website owned by the Wall Street Journal. So the journalist was wondering, how could a boy, son of a hawker, absolutely no connection, got into investment banking and make managing director of UBS? Likely answer, for poor kids, you study very well, you got a scholarship to Ivy League. That's what you guys are thinking. No, I failed my English and literature very badly when I was age 14. I'm too embarrassed to show you my other report cards. So what did I do right or what did I do wrong? How do I get to where I am? I didn't do anything wrong. What is wrong is with the journalist's assumption. The statement, despite me being a hawker son, I'm an MD. That's completely wrong. It is because I'm a hawker son, I'm MD at UBS. Because there's so much to learn during my 10-year internship at my father's store. Of all the things, there are 3 that I thought helped me in banking. Number 1, dealing with people. You see, my father is a very stern man of few words. And we don't speak a lot at home. But when he's at the store, he suddenly becomes very friendly, welcoming, making small talks with customers. I say, wow, that's the way to do business. So when I got into banking, I got no choice but to deal with people. So whether we are discussing merger and acquisition, bond issuance, or hedging foreign exchange, I assume that they are at the store eating prawn noodle. So what do? I become friendly, put on a smile, talk about themselves, rather than talking about the deals. Because My father never talked about prawn noodle with customers. But you see, bankers, we like to talk about you. The first meeting we meet you, we'll say, hedge this foreign exchange risk, buy this product, right? No, I don't do that. Because whether you are buying prawn noodle or buying financial product or you need advice for M&A, they are still people. They are concerned about their kids. They are concerned whether they can get a boyfriend or girlfriend. You know, a lot of other needs beside financial product. So that kind of helped me build the rapport and the relationship. And with good relationship, customers open up. They tell me what their companies need. They tell me their cash flow needs, their future plan. Will there be an IPO in 2 or 3 years? The more I know about them, the better advice I can give. And the better advice, the more transaction I do, and the faster my career progression. Have you ever been to a restaurant that no matter how much you wave, this time I need to use Akash hand signal. No matter how much you wave, you cannot get the attention of the waiter and waitresses. Happens to you. So I make sure that at the store, I'm not one of those waiters. I'll scan around. There are about 10 tables outside that little store. I'll look out for people who wants to pay. At those times, they pay only after finishing eating. I look out for people who wants to order again. I look out for people the customer who wants me to clear the table or clean the table. And there are also passerby walking around. If they pause, I need to go up to them and invite them to come into the store and eat the prawn noodle. Otherwise, they run away. And I also need to match faces with their order. You come and order one prawn noodle, small yellow noodle mixed with vermicelli. I did remember, okay, this is the guy with spectacle, little bit fat. That lady, you know, skinny, bad complexion, ordering that noodle with the flat rice noodle. So constantly I'm scanning people. I need to tie in their face with their order. Because my father is very angry at me if I cannot remember the sequence. And there was once, he cooked the noodle and I say, for who? They use your brain, there's only one customer. One bowl of noodle, one customer, you don't need me to tell you what to do, right? So a lot of analysis going on. So now, these days, the practice of scanning people has become a habit. If I walk in Causeway Bay, I bump into so many people. Not because I know more people than you, it's because I scan people around and I bump into friends. Could be people from my LinkedIn connection. I can even recognize them, even though I've never met them. Usually I go up to say hi, you know, how are you? And of course I fly a lot. On Friday night, flight KA993, which departs at 6:30 if there's no delay, from Beijing to Hong Kong. When I get to my seat, as I'm walking along the aisle, I will look at both sides of the aisle, looking for familiar faces. And many times, I find people that I know. Full of bankers, lawyers, auditors on that Friday evening flight. Some are colleagues, some are ex-colleagues, some are customers, some are friends. I also see competitors and enemies. I try to talk to them because that's the best time. They are not distracted by email, WhatsApp, WeChat. Competitors today can be partners tomorrow. Enemies, if they want to talk to, if they don't mind me talking to them, you know, I'll be happy because you may not be enemy all your life. And that helps me form network, right? Network of people. And in banking, network is very important. What does bank do? Banks try to match interests. There are a group of companies or people who wants to raise funding. There's another group who wants to invest. So we match them. Selling noodle and selling financial services is pretty much the same thing because both are people's business, both are dealing with people. So that's one. Number two, dealing with oneself. At this store, my father is responsible for cooking. I'm responsible for servicing the client. Sorry, servicing the customer. I use client too much in banking. At my father's store, we never use client. We always use customer. What do I do? What's my responsibility? It includes taking the order, serving the noodle, ensure that nobody runs away without paying, and clear the table. Washing bowls is also part of my responsibility, and we have 3 pails of water. The first pail is with detergent, so you make it into a soap solution. I will soak used bowls into the first pail for a few minutes, then start washing. Second and third pails are clean water. So I take a sponge, clean the inside and the outside, put it into the second pail of water, then the third pail of water. Quite clean, right? But after 30 to 40 bowls of washing, you find that some bowls may not be so clean. Have you ever been to a restaurant where there's a little bit of leftover food on your plate? That's why in Hong Kong, you have to wash it again yourself, right? So I was cooking one day for myself at the cooking station. In front of me is a pot of boiling water. Next to it is a pot of pork and prawn broth. On the left is a glass cabinet with noodles and ingredients, sliced pork and sliced prawn. There's a stack of bowls that has already been washed. I took a bowl, turn around, wash it under running tap or running water. My father saw it and said, don't wash again. It's very ugly. Of course, in Cantonese, it's 好難睇. Right? Why did he say that? I mean, he walked away. He didn't make a fuss out of it. But that message left a deep impression for me. I was thinking, hey, this is work ethics. So when I go to banking, I make sure I design products or I give advice exactly the same way that I'll give to myself. So that my customer will continue to deal with me. Because winning trust is very key in banking. And you know that many bankers have got themselves into trouble, caused a lot of damage to the economy. So that is basic work ethics. Number 3, dealing with time. You see, a hawker business must be really efficient. During the peak hours, if they cannot sell enough noodles, they are run out of business, right? They are out of business because it's so competitive. Look at my father. Oh, no, this is not my father. This is the hawker. I don't have a photo of my father because at that time, I wasn't thinking that I would do a TED Talk 30 years later, so I didn't take that photo. But if you see at this hawker, he's wearing a white polo shirt. He always wears that. My father wears a white T-shirt to work every day. I wear white shirt to work every day, right? I don't need to worry about what color shirt to wear in the morning. I don't have to worry about what shirt that can match what tie can match my shirt, because all ties match white shirt except white tie. And not only do I wear the same thing to work, I eat the same thing. I entertain mostly in 3 restaurants in Hong Kong, 2 in Beijing, 1 in Shanghai, and 2 in Singapore. Because I go to those restaurants so frequently, I know the menu. I know that the price wouldn't exceed my budget because we got expense limit for banking these days. And I know the quality of food will always be good. So my focus is always on the customer, trying to find out what they need. Next is if I have a meeting before this lunch that ended early, I will not go back to office first. I will go to the restaurant because I can save time. The restaurant becomes my office. If you look at this picture, you know, I got my boarding pass, I got my BlackBerry. With that, I can already work. the owner will serve me tea and leave me alone because he knows me already. And for that 1 hour that I'm at the restaurant, I can make phone calls, I can close deals, and it's very precious for a banker. You see, my father, he buys soya sauce in double magnum size, which is 3 liter, in a dozen. He buys rock sugar in a set, garlic in a set. I don't have rock sugar to buy or garlic for banking. I buy facial wash, shampoo, batteries in the 50s or 100 that can last me 2 years or 3 years. My weekends, I don't spend time going to the supermarket worrying about it. You know, batteries is so important to parents. Imagine you buy a toy for your kid. You thought batteries included. When you go home, battery is not included. Your child is crying. Your wife asks you to go out and buy. You drive to the supermarket only to find that the supermarket is closed. You waste a lot of time, and then that's not the end. You got more to come when you get home because your wife and your kid are very upset. So I say, what's the point? Business card, I'll print 1,000 pieces, not 2 boxes all the time, because that is wasting of time. So efficiency is very key in hawker's world. It is also very key in banking because every minute counts. I travel a lot, so I'm organized like the hawkers. You see, hawkers, they got place for everything. The chopping board is always at the same place. The knife is always at the same place year after year because you don't want to waste time looking for your knife. You don't have time. During peak hour, you have only like 2 hours to sell as many noodles as you can. And with this pack, for example, the R&B pack, inside there will be a restaurant card. There will be a boarding pass. Because you know what is it like queuing up at the immigration, realize that you forgot your immigration card because the cabin crew didn't give it to you. And last few years, I also keep this item, which is a mask in the pack that says RMB. So there is a lot of similarity between banking and selling noodle. A lot of lesson for us to learn. So the next time you eat a bowl of noodle, whether it's a prawn noodle or wonton noodle, look out for the street food vendors behind that noodle. They may give you a tip or two. Thank you very much.